Alrighty, so episode 1. Here we go. Hey, is good. Ready?
I lost my picture.
Did you get your picture back, Walt?
No, I don't know where it's at. Okay, I got it back.
Yay! But audio is good for everybody?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Well, for me.
Captain's log. Our mission to the planet Newt Verdon was a successful one, albeit a smelly one. Admiral Rathbone, what can I do for you?
Captain, are you familiar with the Chakas outpost in the Virgo system?
It's a small outpost on the edge of the system.
And what about a man named Keldor?
Doesn't ring any bells.
I've sent contact details via secure channel.
I've got them.
Good luck. Rathbone out.
Captain, the shuttle is ready when you are.
Great.
Armand is already aboard.
Good. I'll be back in 3 hours. Give my condolences to our new CMO.
You got it.
Oh, and make sure the conference room on deck 7 is ready for the oven.
Second care of. Captain, what should I tell them when they ask where you are?
I don't think it's up.
Honor guard, salute. The Odyssey and her crew welcome all of you and your delegations.
Where is Captain Lucas?
She had an important matter to attend to and will join us for the welcome reception this evening.
These officers will escort you to your quarters. What important matter?
She didn't share that information with me, Ambassador.
If I find out you're covering for her.
Ambassador, the captain is acting on the orders direct from command.
I'll be verifying that. Now, take me to my quarters.
Of course, Ambassador. My pleasure.
Forgive me, Captain. The information that I have is sensitive. Trust only you.
You asked to see me.
I have heard several strangers talking about how many forces they need on Zulu 3. One was wearing a fleet uniform. You row yet. To fleet us, y'all alike. We don't want you here.
Captain? Our medical facilities are quite spacious. You know, most people would have preferred to see their own quarters first.
Oh, well, the doctor never knows when he's going to be needed. I like to be prepared. It's a scout motto.
This way. Doesn't look like much, but in a week it'll be home.
Medical to the
Armand, this is Jack. What happened?
A helpful friend ended up not being very helpful. He attacked the captain.
I'm on my way with the new CMO.
We will be waiting.
You don't waste any time, do you?
You didn't have to send out a sector-wide alert.
He stole you against the will.
And I'm fine.
He was trying to kill you.
You're acting like a nervous dead mother.
What happened?
I guess the captain into a recall. He was in half-well down. Probably from, I would say, area gravity.
Never would have guessed it to look at him.
Did he tell you anything?
Someone doesn't want the summit to take place.
Not surprising given the quadrant.
What was his name?
Keldor.
What kind of a name is Keldor?
He's a comic book character.
They still make comic books.
I'm Adrian, new CMO.
Oh, definitely.
Well, he'll be sore for a few days, but nothing's broken.
Arnold, see if you can find out anything about this Keldor. You check and see if there's any terrorist groups in the area.
Oui.
I'll increase security around the delegates.
And I will escort you to your quarters. You need to ice the shoulder. I figured you'd prefer your quarters to medical, but it's your choice.
My choice.
I didn't ask for this.
You could have said no.
I did. You know my dad, he's an admiral. And he's worried about you. So am I.
I'm fine.
Have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately?
Yes. Decade.
You look terrible.
What?
I'm a doctor, that's what I do.
Have you told your staff yet?
Not yet. When was the last time you got some sleep?
I got 4 hours last night.
A whole 4 hours, wow.
Wow, from blunt to criticism in less than 5 minutes, you're not wasting any time. You said you'd walk me in my quarters, you did. I'm sure you have other things to do.
Here. Come on. There. Better?
I can't do this.
Renee.
Thanks, doctor. I'll let you know if I have any issues.
Michaels to the captain.
Lucas here.
Ambassador Carlin asked me to remind you that the welcome reception starts in 20 minutes.
300 years ago, factions from Earth set out into space in hopes of saving humanity. They took with them their culture's history, beliefs, and people. The factions that went the furthest, we lost communication with. Now, centuries later, we seek to restore communication, to learn the history of Earth's people now spread throughout the quadrant. We seek to unite what was broken so long ago. We welcome you and hope that this is the first of many meetings.
Nice speech, Captain.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Anything I need to know?
Ambassador Carlin, for me to not share information that could affect the talks would be irresponsible.
Yes. Other than those events on Alpha 5, you've always been known to be quite responsible.
Captain.
If you'll excuse me, Ambassador. Lucas to maintenance?
Is everything okay?
Lucas to Mac?
Mac here.
There's a gas leak on the track corridor. Seal it off until you get a team down here.
I don't have any warning lights going off saying there's a gas leak.
Tell that to my lungs. And double check the exits while you're at it.
Aye, Captain.
Gas leak?
Decade. They happen out here from time to time.
Okay, good to know. So if I try to go for a jog, I might suffocate.
Thanks for keeping me company, Aaron.
Wow, I haven't heard you call me by my first name since...
Since you walked out.
I deserved that. I'm sorry.
You never apologize.
People change.
Maybe.
When did you become a pessimist?
People change.
What happened to us?
As I recall, you wanted to stay planet side and I wanted to take a command in space. You left mid-discussion.
I've regretted walking out ever since.
Didn't change much. Still ended up on a fleet ship.
That I did. Do you have any regrets?
Only things I couldn't control.
Like Joanna?
Like Joanna.
What happened?
It's in the report.
I need to hear it from you.
She died.
She died. Renee? 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 How much of that gas did you inhale?
Not much.
I'm getting you to medical. Come on.
Give me a minute. I'll be fine.
Stubborn as ever.
Could have been worse. One of the pipes had a weak spot in it, which caused the leak when it gave way.
Did you find anything out of place?
Oh, yeah, a hole in the pipe the size of my fist.
We did find some odd residue.
I had my guys take it down to the lab for analysis.
Sabotage.
Maybe.
Someone cut the power to the door controls on this side of the wall and triggered this by remote.
Results from the residue you found. It was a mix of nitrous oxide, carbon monoxide, and smoke.
That is quite the combo.
Which brings us back to the question, who would want to kill the captain?
More importantly, whoever it is on board.
Did you bring that security footage?
Everything you asked for.
Where are you going?
Nowhere unless you open the door. Michael, to Armand.
Armand, dear.
I have something.
On my way.
Ready. For a second. Yes. It's a dipshare sound. Right. We'll have it playing in the background for us while we start talking about it. That volume okay for everybody? You can still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. So that's episode 1. Finally done after 9 years. Woo, yay.
Nice work.
Has it been that long?
Why don't we introduce ourselves since we didn't do that before? I am Becky Haney. I'm the creator and wore many hats. With us, we have Walt, who was our awesome director on a number of the episodes. He acts in some of the later episodes. He DP'd. He also wore a lot of hats. We've got Jan, who played her own twin. We've got Matt, who played Armand Devereaux, the security chief. And then we've got Connor, who also wore many hats. We haven't seen his acting debut in this yet, but we will. So, folks, it's done.
Yay.
Complete.
I love the opening credits. I just want to say that. I think they're kind of fun.
Yeah, they're great.
Eric wrote that theme song for us before his computer died.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got some very Galaxy Quest-esque vibes, which I'm into.
Yeah.
I absolutely love our theme song. Eric did a killer job on it.
Yeah, it's great. It hits the brings back Star Trek and Galaxy Quest all kind of mixed in together and just makes you know what kind of show it is from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I mean, why don't we? So one of the first things, it's very obvious this is a no budget. No budget.
And no hair or makeup either, because somebody let that woman put on that blonde wig with the wrong makeup. And
the blonde wig, and then I like the purple wig later.
I actually like myself in the purple wig. I might wear that again, but not this one.
You all didn't know Jan's wardrobe changes and her wig changes. That was all Jan.
Well, I got help with the wigs, but yeah.
With the wigs, but you decided that Carlin was going to change her wardrobe basically every time she walked through the door.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's fine. You got to keep track of it though. And you did great. It definitely made the character. Became a big part of Carlin. It's like, what wig is she wearing now? Yeah. Didn't we end up with names for all those wigs at one point?
We did. I can't tell you what they are, but we did have names for them.
Well, it's been a hot minute.
Yes.
I remember we named all the wigs at one point.
Yeah. Of course, we can just, the elephant in the room, one of the things is we're talking about what we've learned is that it's really important to have really good sound and really good lighting, because that, as I watched all of these, I was helping Becky out with just watching them and trying to point out anything that she could correct. And a lot of it's really dark and the sound is hard on some of it, but again, no budget. So
no budget. These sets were my townhouse.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My townhouse was
with scrap wood too.
I know, we went dumpster diving for the
multiple times.
Souls and the only scrap wood was the walls and the doors.
Yeah. Speaking of the doors, like just watching them, I do remember being like behind the scenes helping with like the doors, them being all practical. Like one, I'm really like they weren't I think they worked out pretty well, but I do remember that they were a real pain for sound purposes, for like keeping them on the track and having to restart a take just because the door like got stuck or just
so many takes.
The number of takes just because of the doors. Practical effects are fun, but they look good, but man, they can be a pain.
And I caught myself watching the doors really close in this to see if I saw them doing, and I mean, really, the sound on the door makes it seem very realistic. All the effects, I think, all the screens everywhere and the pop-ups, I think they look amazing. I'm impressed. Yeah. Nice job.
Thank you. Screen.
Yeah, it was cool to see some of the digital effects and stuff of the little monitors popping up and your little handheld devices. That was really neat.
It took a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's part of the reason it took 9 years because Cassidy was helping at the time, and then life, no budget. So she gave me the files, and she was way more technically inclined than I am. And so I finally got on and found whatever free green screen was available. And that's how we have the special effects we have. And some of them are layered, like the one on the wall there that has two different free green screens that I combined. Make it look schmancy. Give it a tie-in so they all look kind of similar throughout. But it was a learning curve for me for sure. Because the special effects and the editing was a process. It was a very big process. But yeah, no, those doors. Oh, those doors. I think the majority of our bloopers are the doors.
Well, and us
Makes sense.
buffing our lines, and it's messing those up. Those are a lot of bloopers too.
Yeah, we have a lot of people forgetting lines, a lot of the doors, a lot of Matt going on tangents. It's great.
Oh no.
That's
Yeah.
another with such a no budget and basically having to film so quickly. It was really guerrilla and no rehearsal time to speak of. And I think rehearsal time is always a good thing to have, and it's important. But it was sure fun to do it.
It was a lot of fun. There's a number of things I would have done differently. I would have made sure Renee had 2 chairs in her quarters so it was less awkward height difference. That's one thing. I also would have made sure we had set locations for everything. Because Renee's office and her quarters, the layout of the furniture and the desk changes like every time we're in there.
A lot of that.
So
But your townhome was only so big, you could only do so much.
it was only so big, but we set things up one way and then we'd film the next episode and we forgot we had set it up that way.
Oh, continuity. Yeah.
Continuity. So Renee rearranges furnitures a lot, apparently.
Some
off quarters. Because that desk moves. Like
Well, I mean, if the ship goes this way, your whole furniture in your office just moves, and if the ship goes this way, it gets replaced again. I think that's just what happens.
Right. See, I really like that wig.
It was
no,
You look really
I
good in
wasn't
that.
saying it was bad.
That's a good one.
I liked the wig changes. They were fun. I'd forgotten. There's just so much that I'd forgotten about this. Like it was like the doors and then the wig change and the costumes and everything. It's really cool to look back at this. Like Becky, I can't believe it's been 9 years.
I know.
Crazy.
No, it's a thing. I was counting the other day. I was like, how long has it been? Because it feels like it was like 6 months ago. No, 9 years since we started.
Yeah.
This 1 and 2 weren't even our first episodes.
Yeah, they were more in the middle of the pack, if I remember correctly.
We shot the original version of 3 and 6 first. And then Walt came in. We did 4 and 5. We had to reshoot 3 and 6. We did 1 and 2. And then everything else was kind of just jumbled together when we could get people there, depending on the character and availability.
There's 10 episodes total?
So it's total.
And how long was the full production?
Well, from when we started filming to when we shot the last thing, which was Jan's reshoots, it was like 2 years.
Oh, okay.
2 years. Yeah, my townhouse was a spaceship for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I think I was there for a weekend, maybe two weekends. I don't know.
Whenever you came in from California, we crammed every one of your scenes in.
Yeah.
The limit how many times you had to come out.
Right.
I was in California too for most of it, I think, if not all of it.
For part of it, yeah.
But I was coming in.
You
But I had family to visit, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. I know your reshoots, the last thing we got at the end, you came in from California.
I don't even remember the reshoots. I know I did come in from California for the last.
episode or two. Yeah, you came in from California. No, we had to do the reshoots of you hugging yourself.
Yeah, and actually those came out really well, but I won't talk about those right now.
That's episode 10.
It's another episode.
That was the last thing
Save it.
was the reshoots so that I could edit that together.
I love this shot with the mini blinds on the ship. I just love that there's wood slat mini blinds to look out and see space. Like, oh, space is still there. All right,
I'm
good.
gonna be honest. Part of the reason this has taken me so long is because every time I would sit down and I'd jump into it, I'd make progress, and then I'd have a scene where the blinds were in it, and it would upset me. About it, and I'd have to walk away.
Yeah.
I thought you were just going for the homey feel on the ship, make you feel like you're planet side.
It pulls me out of it.
By the way, this scene between you two is really nice. Really nice.
Yes.
I'm really glad I added it back in.
Yes.
Me too.
When I originally, because Jan will tell you, she watched the original rough cut, which was at about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we had a very honest conversation about it, and it just, not all the scenes were up to par. And so we talked about reducing it to about 10, 12 minutes an episode, and then commentary like this, and I felt really good about that. And so that's what we did. But I went through and I axed it.
Oh, this is a really good scene. Yeah.
And this is one I'm glad I added back in, because within the last 3 months cutting everything together, I was like, oh, that's a really weird cut. Why did I cut that out? So I've gone back through and rediscovered scenes that I was like, oh yeah, we shot this. I completely forgot about it. This is actually a really good scene. And part of it was when I cut it originally, I didn't like me.
See, and I thought that was your best scene by far, the best of the whole episode.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
good.
Rediscovering it, I'm like, oh, that's actually not that bad. And it's
good.
Story, so we'll add that back in. So that's been, because I had everything cut down to 10 to 12 minutes, and then I started sending stuff to Jan, and there's been a few things in some of these episodes that I've added back in since, because of oh, that's a weird cut. What did I cut out? Let me go rediscover scenage. See if there's
I'm glad you brought me back into the episode. That was really sweet. I mean, I know I was cut originally completely, and might have been a smart move. I don't know.
Actually, you were in the episode there, Matt.
Oh, okay.
You were there. You were totally there. None of you got cut.
What are these little black gray, the little gray bars, and there's a gray square in the corner? What are those? Is that like an editing artifact or something?
Oh, in the lower left?
Yeah, lower left, and then the upper middle. Okay. There's some
I
little
only see in the lower left.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, in the upper middle as well. That's probably a screen share thing.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
it's
sure.
The screen share controls, I think.
Oh,
gotcha.
Oh, whoops.
It's a Zoom. It's a Zoom thing. Got it.
Another thing I did notice, well, and part of it was because we didn't have great lighting, but I understand now why, in Star Trek, they have red and gold and blue parts of their uniforms, because we kind of blend into the walls quite a bit.
Oh, the uniforms.
Another no budget thing.
Absolutely. It was a no budget thing, but I had somebody that was helping us with wardrobe when we started. And her and I had a conversation with everybody in khaki or brown pants. And she's like, no, we want blue jeans. But we had a whole discussion about it and a whole debate about it. So I finally gave in and just said, okay, blue jeans. And then we were talking about top colors, and it was what I could find in bulk that wasn't a horrible color.
And it did look more uniform-esque than if you just had a red t-shirt, you know what I mean? That these
Yeah. So, but I wanted khaki pants, which would have been great help in front of that blue screen wall. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Would have been a massive help. But yeah, no, because we had a bunch of people that were gung-ho and they were going to help, and they were there for an episode or two, and then they ghosted me. So it's all right, cool.
Yeah.
Figure it out. But
I'm impressed. I thought it turned out really well.
Yeah. This is a project of passion, and you can feel it.
It's a project of something.
I think one thing we can say is we all had fun.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I just I just remember I was a little iffy about whether I was going to do it or not. And she's like, "Come down, let me show you what I'm working on." And I went down, and Becky's whole entire building is her whole townhouse is, every room is a different room on the ship, and she had put so much effort and excitement and just that passion that it was like, okay, I'm doing it. It's like, I have to do this. There's just so much behind this now that it needs to happen. So yeah.
Which I'm really grateful you said yes, Walt. Because you're one of the people that had you not said yes, this wouldn't have happened. Because I had everybody there that day, that first day you came down, and I had no backup plan. I was like, I don't have a camera.
Made it work. Well done.
We definitely made it work, and you came up with a lot of really awesome pieces and shots, and it added to the thing, and you problem solved a lot of things on the fly.
There was so much problem solving.
Yeah.
It's like, my goal for the entire series became, how many different corridors can I have them walk down? How many different ways can we build corridors in this one room and make it feel like different parts of a ship? That was
yeah, the corridors. I wish I would have ditched the U shelves on the wall. Those weird little, that are in like every shot.
I like the screens that popped up though. That was a cool use of them.
Yeah.
That was Cassidy's idea. She was problem solving it. I was like, we gotta hide those U shelves somehow. They've got to do something. Otherwise,
the different levels of the ship have particular ones that are on those shelves, different things on those shelves. So, over the course of the series, if someone's really watching, they should be able to go, oh, they're on the medical floor, or they're on, in theory.
In theory, yeah. I just made sure a panel got on there. But in theory, yes, they changed.
Yeah.
But the doors did all right, especially with the sound effects.
The door,
yeah.
And I thought the elevator turned out well for being a confessional booth.
Yeah, I like the sound effect of the elevator.
I
That's
forgot about that.
Yeah, well, we ended up with all the walls. Most of the walls. The doors were a separate thing, but I went in with Deuce because he needed a confessional for a short film. And so we're like, well, we both need flat walls. You can use my garage. And so we just built it, and then I painted over them, made them the ship, and it worked out.
I had forgotten about that. Okay.
That's how we got the walls. Was because Deuce and I went halvesies.
Wow.
Bryce came down and very graciously gave of his time and basically built our walls for us. Because I had no idea. It'd been years since I'd been in college and built flat walls. So, but Bryce came with all of his tools. He just pulled up in his truck and unloaded everything. And then we spent an afternoon building all the walls with the doors, and he just went to town. So, very grateful because none of this would have happened without everybody. Everybody said yes. Everybody jumped in. I had people there hot gluing stuff onto the bottom of the consoles that we never really did see. We did a lot of different things, and people were very gracious and came and helped. And on days they weren't filming, we had people there running crafty and everything. So
there's some good crafty.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would
fed us well. You fed us well.
That's why people come back to films like to work on things like this. Is like, well, they're gonna feed me really well. So
well, that's one of the jokes I always make when I give tours when I'm talking about crafty. I'm like, look, the food is the best part. You have good food, you got a happy crew. You gotta have the good food. So no, I'm just glad that everybody was well fed, everybody had fun. That was one of my things, is I wanted everybody to have a good experience.
I thought it went great, and at least on this first episode, I thought all the acting was solid.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Okay. That's all I needed to hear.
But
for Matt. No. Awesome, Matt. Your French accent's beautiful.
Oh, yes. No. You don't have to say such things.
Should always talk this way.
There are other accents that aren't as great.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
I like phonetically on my script had to spell out what it would sound like with the
Oh.
French accent because I am not a natural at all.
Good way to do it. It was very nice.
Not that. So Matt and I met through an acting class. And when he found out he was going to be doing this, every scene he did in that acting class, he did every scene with the French accent for this to make sure he had that accent.
Yeah.
Strong work.
I got to recreate Steve Martin's hamburger scene from the Pink Panther. I did that with the lovely Pam Murray, and it was beautiful. But that was because of this. I was training for this.
No, you're one of the folks, and everybody did it, but you're one of the ones that stands out to me for me going, "Hey, you want to do this crazy thing?" And you not only said yes, but then
Let's go.
you fully jumped in to make sure you were prepared.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was really nervous too because I'm not strong with most accents at all. That's so I was like, well, I'm gonna do this by the book. I'm gonna treat it like an engineer and break it down.
Did great.
Well done.
Absolutely fabulous.
It was fun. I had fun.
Good.
And I hope I don't offend the French too much, even though I'm sure they're okay with it.
Unless you're a natural born French speaker, they're offended. So they're protective of their language.
It's yeah. I think anybody at this point is protective of their language and accent and culture. But
yeah.
You put in the work and it shows.
Cool.
It shows in all
Cool.
this. Good.
I mean, yeah, just part of everybody. I was trying to match everyone else's energy, so I hope I did that.
You definitely did, Matt. Editing there, like watching everybody was great in the edit because we have like 300 hours of footage. And
Wow.
sitting there and watching everybody's performance, like everybody did great. There were certain people that anytime they came on the screen, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. Whether it was a blooper or not, or whatever, like, and you're one of the ones that I would watch and I'm like, okay, so that's a good take. And you go through and you watch the different takes of it. And then you have to decide, okay, he says it slightly differently here. It's slightly differently here. How do I want this to come across in the edit? So I had options with you. Had it same with Jan, Haley, Noah. I think you four were the ones that I always had options with for the edit, which was great.
Okay, thank you.
That's cool.
Alrighty, so that's episode 1. Any final thoughts on episode 1?
I just remember at some point, I think it was Deuce that told me that none of the directors wanted to take on episode 1 because they knew it would set the scene for the rest of the show. And I was like, all right, let's do this.
And you did. And you did.
Yeah.
It was one of those, so, Walt, can you do episode 1? It's like, they're right. Okay, yes, I can do this. Let's do it. But I thought it turned out well, so we're good.
Stepped up.
You started on 4 and 5.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, can I get him back? Will he come back? And then I said, would you be willing to do 1 and 2? And you're like, okay. Like, all right.
What before we move on, what was the impetus behind starting with episodes 4 and 5 in your production process? Was there a specific reason that you didn't start with 1?
Well, we started with 3 and 6.
Oh, okay.
Started with 3 and 6, and that was partly because of the location that we had, because we were in my cousin's backyard, because those are the planet.
Oh,
we
okay.
Those in the backyard. We did a little bit of shooting in the garage. Unfortunately, continuity was a thing that went out the window when we shot those first couple of episodes, and so I knew immediately we were going to have to reshoot those episodes, and thankfully the cast that is in those episodes was really awesome about it. But
that was the original idea, like to skip 1 and 2 so that you could jump to these planet locations first.
There was really no idea behind it other than those are the ones that one of the directors wanted to direct, and he was the director
I see.
lined up, so that's what we started with.
Cool. Yeah.
And then it was just kind of, okay, well, let's look at doing this and this. And then as we went through, plus 3 and 6, everybody that's in those is local.
Yeah.
Gave me time to figure out everybody else that was going to be coming in from out of town, like you and Jan and Megan, I think, came in out of town for one of the last episodes, I think. So that's what it was.
Gotcha.
All the
Good.
juggling.
Yep. Yep.
Lots of juggling. Any other questions or thoughts about episode 1 before we move on?
Move on.
All right.
Good.
That was episode 1.